Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, bit of a disappointment. This is why we gotta run it back.
Turn the beat back.
Alright, first thing that's up, we're not going to talk about Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Maybe a bit later, but that's one of the biggest points. You never make an updated edition of a Marvel vs. Capcom game. You make another installment with more stuff, alternate endings, and more characters. I don't understand what was the decision behind that. I do not understand the whole pipeline thing, but that's a subject for, let's say, the end of this video. Now, the first thing I want to touch up is the roster. The roster is lacking compared to Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but there is a speculation about, they couldn't reuse sprites from the previous games or easily make new sprites based on old characters. Who knows? Marvel vs. Capcom 2 seems to have a lot of new character and maybe less reused sprites than we could consider, but then again, we'll have to look back at it. I don't remember seeing Son Son or Ruby Heart before, but who knows, right? But still, it's a main problem. And hey, no Mega Man. What's going on here? Mega Man, you guys were able to add Mega Man before. I guess they weren't able to generate all his weapon and powers, but still, that's a big factor. As well as a lot of people had fun making fun of Bone Claw Wolverine or all the different types of Wolverine. But you have a good concept idea with this because who knows, you could have had alternate moves, alternate super moves, alternate links. Because it's not just saying, alright, well, Wolverine has Bone Claw, but he has the same move. No, you can always mix it up. A bit like what they did with the KOF DLC characters representing some of the previous forms or previous versions of certain KOF characters. They reused sprites, but they at least added different moves, modified it as well. So Capcom could have took that idea, yet KOF 13 was released after, I think. I'll look it back. Now, when it comes for the boss, well, the boss wasn't that good. There's no way to spare it. Galactus wasn't as big as it could have been. There weren't different forms, of course, because it's Galactus. He only had silver versions of other characters to take you down. You see, I understand the Silver Surfer reference, but again, you guys could have had, I don't know, an actual Silver Surfer. Semi-boss, pre-boss, I don't know, that could have been great. Anything but sprite clones in a different outfit, or in a different colored shade. They were silver. I don't know if you can select it at this point. It is beyond my patience. But Galactus overall kind of felt lame. I did like that little add-on of him crushing the planet if you run out of time. But still, he was an easy beat. You just smash the shit out of him and do your super moves, and Galactus is done and over. Now, Dark Phoenix, what is that all about? I like the fact that you tried adding Jean Grey, the Phoenix. But Dark Phoenix? What is this? We never had characters with alternate form. Or, okay, we're not counting Mecha Zangief or Zangief turning into Mecha Zangief. That wasn't that bad. Just super armor. Yet this is a complete alternate form where she just can't control it and spits fire all over the place. Wouldn't be that bad if you didn't combine that with the fact that she has a hecton more power, covers the entire screen, teleports, and you just need to add the I win factor or I win mechanic I'll talk about later on. Why? Interesting idea, but not really needed, and kind of unbalances the game at the beginning of the game. Anyway, your decision, but I don't know, the roster overall didn't feel that special. I did like the original Dante, Beautiful Joe, and a couple of other things, but it didn't feel as big as it could have been. And maybe it's due to lack of time, which kind of pushes us to tell Capcom again, finish your game before releasing them. Now when it comes to control, I hate the casualized control. I didn't touch Tatsunoko versus Capcom on Wii, and I understand why they would have set such control for a game on the Wii, but it just didn't feel like that kind of control scheme had its place when it came to console. We have all 6 buttons. We don't need to have casualized and crammed up control. Sometimes you just want to do a sweeping kick, but instead you're doing a high punch because your punch and your kicks are all on the same button. It all depends on your direction. That wasn't too intuitive. Not good. X Factor. Why? Why do you have to give people an I win button mechanic? Seriously, if they lose, they lose. They'll get better by training. But you do not need to give everyone an I win mechanic. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't even need that much of a build-up. And its effects are amazingly devastating. Next part is combo loops. Why did we need to have pop-up assist moves? This keeps people into an eternally long chain of combos, and they don't even need to do that little switch up between characters. No, they could just continue, hit you all the way up, hit you down, have the pop-up assist, and that's one dead character straight from the announcer. No joke, you get into tournament, it becomes stale, it becomes boring, because you can just loophole people into these kind of combos. Something that could kind of help would have been a combo breaker system using a part of your super move bar. Would have been great, but then again, too late, too little, too late. Still, those pop-up combos weren't needed. Those pop-up assists weren't needed. If a character is down, he is down. I don't need to lift them back up. Or at least give the player a chance, but you know, broken game, broken, right? Now, when it comes to style, I love the level tree super moves. I really like that idea. It's a great idea. Now the only problem is, when it comes to regular super moves, there is always that, let's say, 2 to 5 second pause movie of your character getting ready to do a super move. We don't need to have that great showing of, I'm about to do a super move, get ready to block. No, keep it simple. You do not need to have a spectacle all the time. You could always keep it simple as just a minor stance change, or just an image popping up for a few seconds. Not that long, not too long. You don't need to have a huge animation for it. Yeah, when it came to the level 3 super move, well, that's a mixed bag. I love the way they were planned. I love the way it all interacts. I love the idea of most of them. Yet some of them feel really long. Hey, but still, it's a level 3 super move. You built it up. And if you manage to fit in a combo, it just makes it all beautiful. So it's an epic idea. Also love the 4th wall breaking. Deadpool, one of my favorite characters. Love the way they added him in the roster. Love the way he's taunting the player as well. Love the way he's taunting the other character with previous game references. Also a good amount of references as well. Love it. More of that. It's Marvel vs. Capcom. These characters have somewhat faced themselves before in the same universe. Or close enough, you know? If Ryu doesn't have the face can, someone's gonna have to refer to Ken or something like that. It's a great nod to the fans, people who stuck to you even in your dark times. Now the music, I am not a big fan of the composer, but that's more of a personal thing. I previously loved, let's say, Marvel vs. Capcom 1's music style and going before. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 had a very mellow beat. I don't know what happened with Capcom at this point. And when it came to the recent game, Street Fighter 4 and Marvel vs. Capcom 3, the composer just went with this weird high-pitched scream type of thing. They had some interesting remix here and there, but there's always that high-pitched note that will eventually break your ear in Street Fighter Cross Tekken, but that's another topic. Yet, not a big fan of the music. Maybe they could have went, I don't know. I'm not saying that they should have went, or they should have went back, but maybe something a less high pitch, maybe balancing it a bit with some rock as well. A bit like how they did the Rock remix. Not the Rock, the Hulk remix. I don't know why I said the Rock. Now, when it came to the ending, lazy. Those were short, small illustrations. You could barely see any of them. I don't understand how Capcom went from Street Fighter 4's animated ending or even illustration ending to those half-sized images with small quotes. It really felt lazy. It didn't even give me a push towards beating the game with other characters. I just felt left out. At this point, I finished the game one time and I'm like, you know what, I'll just go into multiplayer. I don't feel the need to continue beating this game over and over again to see what's happening with the endings. It just felt quite lazy, even though I hear some had some great references. Oh well, still, Capcom, if you can, add some more illustration, bigger illustrations. You can even have cutscenes, a bit like Blaze Blue, whatever you want to say it, or Persona 4 Arena. But make it bigger. Don't just cheap out on the fans. And this brings up to the milking. When it comes to cheaping out to the fans, look at the collector's edition. Whoever didn't have a collector's edition wasn't going to experience the 2 extra characters, Jill and Shumagorat. I still have no clue what happened when it comes to the Ultimate Edition that was released after, which is a big piss off. Why do you need to do an Ultimate Edition of Marvel vs. Capcom if it's supposed to be finished on this own iteration? If the game is incomplete, wait. Do not release it. Please take your time to finish your game and then release it. You don't need to have all these extended editions if your game is complete, if you add all the characters you were supposed to add. But obviously, there was an issue with the pipeline, or some corporate head wanted to make some more money or didn't want to leave the development team enough time to complete the game. Thus we get, 9 months after, an Ultimate Edition with all the characters that were supposed to be there, with a couple of extra features such as lobby watching match, you know, a lobby that will let you watch the match. That, which was really important, we finally get that in the 2nd edition. No clue if you get a free Shumagorat and Jill, but then again, I don't know. They've backed themselves up in a corner, and that's a big issue. You do not want to get greedy. You do not want to get hasty. You want to finish your game, then release it. So, I don't know. Marvel vs. Capcom 4, anyone? Superb Extended Edition? I have no clue what's happening, but then again, those are some points they could work on. Roster, bigger roster. Take your time to do this. Get creative. No more alternate form for certain characters. This unbalances the game a bit. Boss, make a better boss. Look back at Apocalypse or Onslaught. I don't know about this Oblivion type of character in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but that was still a good notch. Don't casualize the control. Don't add that easy comeback with X Factor. Beware of infinite loops with the pop-up assist. Better endings. Much better endings. When it comes to the music, you might as well keep the same composer, but tone down that high-pitched cat screaming sound. Level 3 Super's epic idea, but do not overdo it. Keep it simple. And please, please do not make an extended super ultra mega packaged hit edition, because you'll be gut punching the fans and then people are not going to believe you anymore. Well, that was a game design runback, Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Stick tuned for another episode. I'll try to keep them popping. Thank you for your support. Later. 1, 2, 3, 4, turn the beat back.